guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
Okay, we are live with Anonymous Bites Back. A free Commander X special tonight. Big announcement. An International Day of Action on July the 20th, which is in about 2 weeks. And we're going to discuss all about that. Please help share it around. That's what we depend on. All the anonymous stuff keeps on getting shadow banned, and we want to make sure that the Commander X case gets all the attention it needs. So I'm here together with Steve, who is actively working on getting this thing off the ground.
Yeah, I I met with Keith McHenry from Food Not Bombs down at the kitchen in Santa Cruz today. Spent about 2 hours just kind of going over what we'd like to get out of the protest, the initial people we should contact, and just sort of general planning, and would really like to do something significant for this. And one of the things that we realized is that X has been involved in so many different kinds of anonymous ops that there's hardly an activism group an activist organization that we could reach out to that hasn't in some way, shape, or form benefited from the help of Anonymous at some point in their, in the last 10 or 11 years, 12 years. So, like, for example, there's a reporter friend of Keith's. I'm not going to name him yet until we know whether or not he'll be on board. But a reporter friend of Keith's who doesn't necessarily have, like, the best politics in terms of being friendly towards cyber activists. However, he is very, very, very vocal against the U.S.'s illegal occupation in Syria, against the ongoing genocide that Israel commits against Palestinians every day. And so I reminded Keith about Israel and about the anonymous ops during the Arab Spring, and he was like, "Oh shit, you're right." You know, maybe that's a good way to introduce this thing. And so really when we're and this goes for everybody who's listening right now, everybody who will listen, and will make overtures at least to every group that we can think of. But if you're involved in another group, if you've got friends that are activists on any front, chances are there's been an anonymous op that has directly benefited that group and there is both common cause now and past solidarity reasons to get your group to co-sponsor these events and help contribute to the turnout. And like, if anybody's in California, or realistically like a state away from California, between now and the 20th, which is 2 weeks, this event takes place 2 weeks from today. Between now and then, if your group is having an in-person meeting and you feel like that's what it would take to sway them to support this, is somebody coming to talk to them, I'll do that. Same offer if it's a an online meeting. Like, this is important shit, and we need as much as much unity as possible. So I will make myself available to do that.
Yeah, because we need to get our friend out of jail, and that will only happen if we can give enough attention to this case and give enough publicity to make sure that he gets the best defense, that they know for sure, that the people who are prosecuting him, that we are all watching them. That's the pressure we're putting on it. Like, he's got a good lawyer, so that's not the problem. But we all know that the people in power, they only give people. I can't even say this. We were only hoping for a fair trial, and the chance is getting bigger if we put pressure on them, if the eyes are on them. So that's the thing. And people need to be made aware of what is going on. I mean, this is a person who is illegally kidnapped from Mexico, taken to the USA, where he is put in a jail cell. And he's not the first one that happened to, getting illegally kidnapped from another country where you are asked for asylum by the United States. Just for the United States to treat you horrible and try to get you in jail for a long, long time that you don't even deserve. And in this case, Commander X, his focus has always been on the weakest people, the homeless, and people who actually really needed it. Not on the strong, but on the weakest people. That's who he defended, and still defends. And he is the last person who deserves this kind of treatment. Really. So.
Well, it's such a clear-cut example of the U.S. empire's massive overreach, and just solidifies the image as, world bully. Because here we have a man who, on camera, multiple times, on streams that were being monitored, announcing his retirement from activism.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to participate in any ops again. I've got advice, I've got suggestions, and I've got stories, and I've got thoughts on current events, but my time as, quote unquote cyber warlord, way done. Wasn't trying to stick his neck out in the first place, and for whatever reason, whatever excuse, whatever could be manufactured or generated to get the U.S. to go, yeah, okay, it's worth it. It's worth the cost of an cross-border operation, international operation. It's worth the cost of incarceration, and it's worth whatever backlash we get from this, just so we can punish a man approaching his 60s in failing health for a protest prank over a decade ago. Are you
Yeah.
fucking kidding me?
Yeah, exactly. That's the
Like,
thing.
if you're listening and that doesn't make you furious, I don't know what to say, because it's a deliberate effort to hasten the death of a human being for what? For not just towing the line, we're not just bowing his neck and fucking being a fucking cog of the machine for, like, it's it. Anybody who thinks that the West or the U.S. is any sort of beacon of freedom and democracy in the world needs to introduce me to your dealer. I don't want to be that fucked up.
Yeah, so yeah, the only thing we can do is get attention for this case right now. Luckily, X has a lot of friends too, and organizing will not be that hard. But we will have actions in what is it in the town where he is now. But we want actions all over the world, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, well, we're going to have an event at the courthouse where it's taking place. Even though X is going to appear by video, optically we want to be able to do that, draw attention to the location, and also it's got the really good backdrop for press conference or speeches, and it's right downtown San Jose. There is a lot of foot traffic. That we're going to do it from noon to 2. So it'll be during, court recess and all of that kind of stuff. And there will be a simultaneous event in Santa Cruz in front of the city building in the Vets Hall where the initial sleep-in protest took place back in 2010. However, and as Mark said, this is something that we would really, really like to see solidarity actions for. And one of the suggestions that we've had is that the location be Mexican or U.S. consulates if you have them in your city. If you don't, I would just say any public location that's going to get eyes on you, whenever you choose to do it. We're going to do it at noon on the West Coast. But again, man, this is decentralized activism. You can hold your protest whenever you like. We're just encouraging, solidarity events to take place that day. So you don't have to base it off of noon Pacific. You can do it when it's the most optimal time for you. But July 20th is the day, and really, we're pretty open in terms of, like, who we would want to have talk, who we'd want to have cover. I would kind of hope that, we wouldn't hear from just the same voices on this as we do for everything else, because then it kind of people either tune out or they get confused. And X is a dude who's got a lot of different people in his life. So also, if you're listening and you're familiar with those people, and we may not, help us, dude, because we're busy. Send them our way. Let them know.
Yeah. Well, his career is so long. I mean, like decades and decades he's been in the activism world. Food Not Bombs. You talk with them tonight, right? That's a huge network where he did a lot of work for. But there are other networks. I mean, in the Occupy movement, he was very important. The Arab Spring events, right? So there is definitely a big ground support for Commander X, and we need everyone mobilized for this. Everyone who's ever dealt with Commander X, yeah, we need you guys on the ground. Simple. And you can show your support on the 20th.
And please do. And look, and if going out into the streets and protesting isn't your thing, and I understand that, not that there's a whole lot of excuse to feel that way in the moment because of how fucking crazy it is, but if for whatever, legitimate reason, man, that's not, you can't make it, you can always help us boost these events. You can always hit up other people to invite them, like in your stead, invite 15 friends. You don't have 15 friends that live in your town, like blast your town with flyers or what the fuck ever. Like, we really do need to get back, now that like shit is a little bit more open up, we need to get back to some like old school 3-dimensional activism where we flyer a fucking town with this shit. By the way, flyers are being designed like tonight. So as we like, there will be templates. I make them available. We've got a couple of different Discord servers that I can put them in. And I'm not fucking kidding. Every available space where you can legally put all of these flyers. You can, please do that. Please.
Okay. So, maybe we can discuss about like the infrastructure to deal with protests. Like, how can people get to the protests? Like, if you're not in the area, can you like reach the area in some way? Maybe we can set something up for that too, that people can travel together. To
like a ride share?
Yeah, ride shares and stuff. Like, we can set up groups for that, I guess. That people can ride share. Right? I mean, yeah, that's what it comes down to. I could make it as easy as possible to go there. And also, like, maybe you can, if you plan to go there, in this case, like, that's what we always forget to mention, that just talk to your friends and family about it. What's going on. That increases protests in an amazing way. If you go alone, it's just you, which is fine. But if you take family with you and friends and stuff, then protests become a lot larger, and it's very easy to talk with your close ones about the situation. It's very easy to convince people, because convincing people on the internet is a different story than convincing people who are like so close to you. If they want to go out, if they're prepared to go out for you with you to drink like a coffee in town, maybe they want to go with you to some event too, right? Yeah, so this is the 20th, but there will be more court dates, and of course there will be more protest days in the future. But on the 20th we want like a really big turnout, and we have a little bit time. So yeah.
I've got like several people messaging me right now, different shit. I'm totally down. And look, here's the thing: I'll tell you what, if like making it out to a protest is something you can't do, but for some reason you've got some resources, dude. We'll fucking fill a bus or we'll fill a van all kinds of, you know, like we'll make sure that like if you know have a way to provide transportation or some shit like that, dude, like we'll, you know, make sure that we can get as many people to these as possible.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I would recommend, guys, if you haven't oh, I don't even know if that's possible anymore. Dude, if anybody's got a copy of X's book, like here's also what we need on social media, or like sent to interviewers, sent to media outlets, just kind of like overview of ways that Anonymous has benefited a number of different activist organizations, just so there's reminders out there in those communities that Anons in general, specifically this dude, Commander X, has quite often been a very outspoken, beneficial supporter, and this is flat the fuck out his time of need.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of political prisoners in general. When they're my friend, pretty rage inducing. But I don't know what else you got, Weavers.
We should give some updates about the actual stuff that went on with Commander X. I'm not sure if you read about that whole thing with the dogs, etc. Maybe we should give some outcome on that.
I was hanging out in Pasadena with Jones for all of that, and I've had a number of, like, not just the pictures that we posted, but you know, some other ones, and like video, the doggies playing and running around and looking very, very healthy and very, very happy. And I addressed that. I was bored in my truck yesterday on my 5.5 hour drive back up from Los Angeles, and I did like a 10-minute live stream, and on that I did address the whole thing with the dogs.
Yeah, because we do need to be clear about that, right?
And on that I did address the whole thing with the dog. I mean, if you want, I could probably pull it up. You could just play it.
Yeah. Do it.
I'm not exactly sure where it is. Hang on, I'll try and find out through the magic of closed captions. Okay. Burr. I say far too often. Okay, found it. Yeah, this will be easier than having to repeat myself. I'll just play the thing of me talking from yesterday.
Yeah. That works.
Do some volume.
Because we had some discussions about that, right? And I mean, X even like sent like an audio message, but it seems like he didn't have the full story yet. So.
Yeah, and if he's not operating on 100% accurate information, like, you guys know X. X is an emotional human.
Yeah.
Commander X. Couple of updates with X, and I do want to make this 100% clear.
Wow, sorry for the
There's
horrible
been
video.
some confusion about X's dog, Xander and Xavier, what kind of condition they're in, has them, all that stuff. I have spoken with the woman who has the dogs and has had them since day one when they rescued them out of X's house after he had been kidnapped. I have pictures of the dogs. There are pictures of the dogs if you go to the Free Commander X Twitter account. Those are up there. You'll be able to see them for yourself. Absolutely no reason whatsoever for anyone to think that that the dogs are being mistreated or are missing meals or any of that stuff. I know there's confusion, and I know that there's confusion on the part of X. But we can put that down to like not the best communication on everybody in all of these spheres that are working on different time zones, different sleep schedules, sometimes language barrier. And you can get bad information that way. It's not really anybody's fault. X also locked up, stressed out, and let's be honest, rarely the most, oh, well, let's just, let's not fly off the handle about it. X is historically a little notorious for having very strong opinions immediately, but do want everyone to know that there's absolutely nothing wrong with the dog. That's all good.
There we go.
Okay.
And yeah, just again, I in regular contact with the woman who has the dogs, and will continue to be. And if a need ever arises where we have to, fundraise for vet bills or anything, we'll get on it pretty much instantly. But yeah, dude, they're dumb, fat, and happy. Like that's,
Yeah.
mean that in any kind of negative way, dude. I'm sure they're very smart dogs. I'm just saying, dude, they're not missing any fucking meals, and are digging it. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. It's a lovely woman.
Yeah.
Very lucky dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It matters that they're being well taken care of. That's the number one thing. And yeah, I saw the pictures and stuff. It seems to be that they're doing okay. So that's the thing, kind of like, yeah, because I was going to post the whole Commander X sent me a message, right, like a private message thing, but half of it contained that whole part about the dogs, and the other part was about the fundraiser, right? We can't do any illegal fundraising because he has a lawyer assigned by the state,
Right.
and yeah, so that's illegal to
To fundraise for illegal defense while he's got a court-appointed lawyer.
Yeah, even though technically he is allowed to get like whatever, like tech support, like and like Leaderman, and I know Thor Ekeland also offered tech support. Yeah, well, technically they don't have to do it for free, I think, but I'm not sure. Like according to X, they said they were going to do it for free. So yeah, there's no need for any fundraising for legal support. It would be nice if we can get some books to him and stuff. we can raise some money for that, of course.
And I don't know about California. I do know that in most jails and prisons there's a number of ridiculous rules about sending books and what kind of books, and they're not allowed to have a cover and like a whole bunch of other things. But we'll look into that for sure.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that he's got everything he needs. That's the thing. But yeah, that will all be established as we could just communicate well with his lawyer, etc. It's always like a chaos at the start, right? When it just happens, then you have to set up a lot of connections between that. And then when you have it all figured out, it is a little easier. But you said his lawyer is communicating well now, right? I mean, with you and.
Yeah, they're pretty much there's a much shorter turnaround from the time that I text him to the time that he calls me back. I was trying to meet with him today, but his court schedule didn't allow for it, and I wasn't trying to stick around in Santa Cruz until now in order to do it. But I am gonna arrange a meeting with him as soon as possible. I'm also trying to put myself on the video call rotation for X.
Okay.
And then as far as getting money on his books, where are we at with that right now?
Okay, so we have on one side we have Ray and Pam, etc., doing the whole fundraising on their side. I think we have about $1,000 last time he spoke to me, and I know Nat received at least $300 or something from the old friends of X fundraiser. Expect more coming in, but and she already sent some books to him, so that works. It's just I'm not sure how fast it goes with the whole mailroom, etc. With these things. I'm not sure how it works with the American prison system, but I do know that so apparently no one is allowed to send anything to prisoners inside the United States if you're outside of the United States. You're not allowed. It's literally impossible to send money through the prison system.
Yeah, no, you can't do it. They've got flags.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, but yeah, it's annoying because people want to just get money to him for basic needs. It's not for his legal stuff. It's just for basic needs. Makes life in prison easier if you have some books, etc.
Yeah, dude. Even something as simple as having your own coffee cup, or good shower shoes, or there's all kinds of shit. Being in jail sucks no matter what, and nobody wants to feel like they're comfortable in jail. You know what I mean? But it's a psychological thing. So where if you got some of your critter comforts or whatever, then you don't nut up as quickly.
Yeah, exactly. It's just I can imagine for him it's a huge shock, being all in freedom in Mexico and doing whatever you want, right? Just trying to lead a normal life, and then suddenly being locked up and not being able to do anything, right? So yeah, you need something to do. I think that one of the worst things is that you actually get bored in a jail cell too, and you keep thinking about things. You want to do stuff, So you need to keep your mind occupied, and yeah, so you can read. That's a good start. So books are welcome, but you can also mail him, right? I mean, there's an address published. We have it on the site too, freecommanderx.org. There's an address for Commander X, and you can send letters and whatever to him. Maybe you send him some stuff he can read, right? I mean, long letters, interesting stuff you can think about.
Well, and here's the other thing about that, though, is that you've got to be really careful what you put in a letter, because it will either get censored or not delivered.
Yeah.
Like if it's a multiple page, like you really just have to talk about like nothing, or something that's so far out and so like metaphysical or psychedelic or whatever that it can in no way, shape, or form be construed as subversive or against jail guidelines for what they did. Like, it's so fucked up, dude. But yeah, the last time that I was in jail for any length of time, I had a handful of people that were writing me, and when I got out, I was talking to a couple of them. They would ask, say something about a letter that they had sent me, and I would be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't recall that at all. I never saw that. And
Yeah.
I was having, a bunch of letters not delivered because of the content.
Okay.
So, and I know that, like, there's a lot of people whose first inclination is to put, something fuck the government-esque on the envelope or on the letters, and it'll never get to them that way.
I just posted the episode in the Discord channels. If you're just tuning in, this kind of like a special broadcast to announce the day of action on the 20th of July for Commander X. We want global actions in support of Commander X, who is our arrested brother, and he needs us to speak out for him because he at this moment can't do it himself, except for some not so regular audio messages he's still able to deliver to some people. He can't really do anything, so he's locked up, and we all need to raise attention and awareness for his case. And so we will do this on the 20th of July. There is going to be a press release that will be released tomorrow, I think. Right, Steve? Or still tonight. You can probably will be there will be there will be like a press release. It will be like released tomorrow, I think, right? Or tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna work it up here, in a couple of hours, and then if we can get it completed to satisfaction, I'll fucking pull up my media contact list and schedule the email to go out at 6 a.m. so that it hits all of the... You know what? We need to time that right, because press releases get ignored unless they show up in the inbox on Monday.
Yeah.
But we can blast it out all over all of the social media, and I guess we could go ahead and send it more than once.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we want as many websites, etc., to talk about this, and if hopefully other media too. But I mean, we just need all the attention we can get, and we don't have that much time. We have enough time to organize, but we don't have forever. We have about 2 weeks. That should be enough. Normally it's enough. Like, we need at least normally 10 days or something to organize. So we have some time. But there is a huge press release with all the details and stuff. Either tonight or tomorrow. You can read all about what's actually going to happen. So that is in Santa Cruz will be like the main event, right?
No, the one at the courthouse will be.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Again, because that's the day that he sees the judge in that courtroom. And he's scheduled for excuse me, he's scheduled for the 9 a.m. call, which means that the judge in that particular case is done for the day after that. It's all status conferences for that morning. And if any carry over to afternoon, they carry over to afternoon, but the judge has to go on lunch recess too. But we're trying to use that location for the main protest. And then after that, we'll probably change main locations for events to Santa Cruz. But for this first one, we want to focus on the courthouse. At least, we'll go back and forth between like court dates and other events.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, dude, they're 45 minutes apart. So it's not, not like we're going from DC to San Francisco with it.
No, exactly. But again, like what I said is, they extradited a person from another country, and we've seen this before with Julian Assange, right? They took a person outside of out of an embassy where he was asked for asylum and he assumed to be safe. And with X's case too, and the Americans just took him out of there and locked him up. And if I'm correct, this was also done in a very shady way that I think personally is illegal how they did it. So just that to point that out, that this is a thing that matters to everyone, because if they can do it to Ecuador or to Mexico, they can do it to any country. So yeah, that's why it makes sense to actually protest about that specific thing all over the world. Even if you don't know Commander X or whatever, you can still protest against the fact that the Americans can apparently take anyone from any country they want, throw them in a jail cell in the USA, and have them face years and years of prison time in a horrible prison system that it isn't even something that should exist anymore in this way in 2021. I mean, the prison system in the US, like the sentences, like the example of Julian Assange, 175 years. Who faces 175 years for being a journalist? And in the case of Commander X, he's looking at, what is it, like at 17 years at least, if he gets convicted over stuff. Yeah. Who faces 17 years for helping the homeless? That's what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
America!
Oh, hey, Joan.
Hi.
I did not see you because I am not on that screen.
Yeah, well, saw that show we're live and yeah, popped in.
Glad you had a good flight.
Oh, it got rerouted like 5 times because of weather, but it still
Did it
came
really?
early. Yeah, but it still came in early, so big up the pilots.
Fuck yeah.
Ah, jeez. Well, don't let me interrupt the flow of the stream here. Commander X, Julian Assange, it's time to go and get out in the streets and show solidarity for our political prisoners and our information activists and hacktivists that are falling casualties as a result of the current war on the truth, really. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just explaining that these sentences, these years and years in prison, are just not a 2021 thing anymore. I mean, like we said, like Assange facing 175 years for journalism, Commander X facing 17 years for helping the homeless. I mean, what are we talking about? This is like,
Well, and keep in mind too the X's friend throughout all of that, Keith McHenry, has been declared a domestic terrorist since like 1989 by the FBI for feeding the homeless.
and this also happened. All of this happened shortly after Commander X helped to create like a Wi-Fi connection at one of the camps of Keith.
And they were able to broadcast on X Speaks directly from the Freedom Camp. And I mean, he said it himself. One of the things that he wanted to do on kind of his little comeback was, I want to, give back more to the people of Santa Cruz, to the homeless community there where I kind of began.
So immediately we got them a 4G mobile router so that they can broadcast from the homeless camp if it gets raided.
Yeah, so all this doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. And, well, this is an opportunity for people to speak up about this. If you don't do it now, then when will you do it? Like, if you didn't speak out for Assange, then, yeah. If you don't speak out again now, like, when are you going to speak out, right?
Every time you can't take a principled stance for someone, you can't stand up for one of these political prisoners, you weaken the future defense for the other people that fall victim to it. So, like, when people don't speak up for Assange, our defense for people like Commander X is weakened just by that. And then same thing with other political prisoners, when you can't find yourself standing up for a victim of the state, like, way back to the incarcerated Black Panthers like Mumia Abu-Jamal, or incarcerated indigenous rights activists like Leonard Peltier. When you can't even stand up for them, then what's going to happen 20 years down the line when one of the people in your cause becomes a victim of the prison industrial complex?
Yeah, exactly. And there's going to be more, like, after this, right? It's going to, like, if people don't speak out about this, they're going to do this to more and more people, and eventually we're all going to be taken in that way. And that is what Julian said too. They're not just coming for me; they're coming for all of you. And he's just the first one in line. And let's make an example out of him. And now we have Commander X, who is like one of the most vocal Assange supporters in the Anon community. A very, very active supporter of press freedom and human rights, and next to that, a huge advocate for the homeless. And yeah, he gets pulled in now around this time when we were expecting like an outcome in that case. The appeal the Americans did, and we were expecting some answer from the judge, and the answer we got is that one of his other most vocal supporters gets taken in a super shady way. Yeah. So that's disgusting to see.
Yep.
Sorry, that one worked.
Nice.
I've been gone for basically 2 weeks. I haven't been able to see my my cart guy.
Okay.
Oh, there's Pamela, right on time.
Oh, is he calling?
She's texting there.
Okay.
Oh, and I guess she's listening. She says, um, the public can watch the X's video, the hearing by video link. There's instructions on her Substack from.
Oh, yeah.
2020.
We should have mentioned that, yeah, that actually the people are, everyone is able to actually watch this whole court session online. And so that is on Pamela Drew's Substack. We'll get at least a link from there. We'll spread it all over Twitter then too and stuff. People should do that because we we need to make we need to have like a record of what is going on there, right? And like how is a judge behaving? How are these prosecutors behaving? And we can assess like what is going to happen after that, right? We can make like, some scenario out of that because we don't know much now. We only know that he is locked up talking to his lawyer stuff, and we don't know what they're going to come with. After the first court session we will know a lot more, and it would help if everyone just goes also like everyone just starts watching that too, and then we can all collectively give our feedback on that to each other.
Yes, if you can't make it to an actual action, or if you can't flyer during that time, or if you want to flyer before or after the time frame of the actual court appearance, then please watch the court appearance, record it, stream it, live tweet about it, do like a Kevin Gostola style tweet thread on it, and then spread the word of what's up, because you can get multiple interpretations that way.
Yeah, exactly, because some people might notice things others don't. And that is the kind of the thing. Like, people with some legal background might be helpful to just look into all this, and then we can see what is the best approach for us, and we can also confront them on mistakes they make, and Someone says because Britney's hearing was illegally recorded and shared, some will not allow people to this. Well, this one is public. This one is going to be public. So, yeah. Everyone can watch it.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping it's not as bad as the Assange court hearings.
No, it was really bad. The sound kept dropping and everything.
Yeah. Hopefully this one has better, Zoom infrastructure, I guess.
Got I can give an early glimpse at an almost completed graphic for what we have so far. And again, we're going to be adding to this. We're going to be, putting it in speakers. There will be a template available.
Hey, I do know. I do want to say thank you to Pamela Drew and to Raymond for all the work they've been doing behind the scenes. I mean,
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
They've been on this, going hard on it, and we appreciate it. I appreciate it, and I know Commander X appreciates it too. I know you guys are very experienced at this. You, Pamela, have been doing this for a long time, so but still. I mean, we are all very thankful of what you guys are doing.
And here's another thing that you can do, since there is a video link for this, and I can't believe I didn't suggest it during Julian's hearing. But have a watch party, have a bunch of people over if you can to view this thing as an action. If you can't make it to a protest, if you can't do that, at least bring people in with you while you're doing this. Because again, none of this shit works if the only people that give a fuck about it are those of us watching this right now. This is why press freedom cases and fucking, digital activism cases are so vitally important that we rally around, because all of our activism hinges on our ability to communicate our message to people who don't already know it. It's why we need to support these guys. Why we need to be out in the streets for WikiLeaks. It's why we need to be out in the streets. And again, if you can't do that, that's cool. But if you have access to people, or if you have access to resources, or you have access to a large platform on social media, help us out with that. Shit, dude. It's and you have. That's the thing. Like, everybody that's listening right now, everybody that will listen, all of you already have. Like, I'm not, and I guess I'm not like trying to yell at anyone. I'm just letting you know the lay of the land. But most of us have no fucking resources. Most of us are stretched thin on our best days. But we're also 100% ready to, go get in the streets and scream our head off about it. And we'll do it at the drop of a hat. And I don't know about Lubers, but me and Jones are adorable.
Adorable? You're asking me if I'm adorable? I'm not adorable. I want to be adorable.
You're just silly enough to be adorable on occasion.
Okay, that's fair. I say silly stuff all the time. So no, I do mean it, by the way. I just said thank you to Pam and everything. I think they're not getting enough thanks for the stuff they do, because they do it behind the scenes and they don't ask anything for it, and they should get more thanks.
Well, and here's the other thing too, man. Sometimes if you thank them, you get in trouble for it. Like, it's weird.
Right.
Oh man, fucking.
I mean, I don't care who wants to come out and make a good work for the cause. I mean,
Oh yeah, dude. But what was I gonna say? Oh, I did want to give a shout out to, and I think we did this once already, but I wanted to give a shout out to the DC Metro for Assange group for one, for existing, because up until very, very recently it didn't. April was the first time a DC based Assange group did a street act. So really glad that group exists in the first place now, because now that there are locals who are organizing for Assange, it will be vastly easier to get the other people who are already DC residents involved. For whatever ridiculous reason, DC activists hate it when other groups come in. And so you're basically ignored because you're from out of town. But now we have a local group there. And they're all very dedicated. They're all, or mostly all, like, younger. And they don't have any of the ties that would hamper them from speaking truth all the time that a lot of the DC activists get, just because of the nature of who they end up working with or who ends up funding them. Popular Resistance comes to mind, George Soros. But they don't have any of that. dude. They don't. It's fantastic. So big shout out to those guys. And that's
Yeah.
Josh and Jordan. And
Nice. Y'all dope. Big ups. Also, Dina in the chat says, my local print shop is going to help with making Square 6 stickers. Where should I send them?
for what? Stickers for what?
I'm assuming
The
for
X thing, or-
Commander X stickers? Yeah, that's what Dana says.
Okay. It. I'll drop my email in the chat there.
Oh yeah, she said it earlier in the chat that she just ordered a big stack of free X stickers.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
good.
Dina, I'll drop my. And by the way, Cutler, I'm watching the Rockfin chat, not the YouTube one. All of you guys should be watching this on Rockfin anyway. Yeah, Dina, I'm dropping my email in the chat, and then connect with me, and I will give you an address. Yes, Steve, it is. It is 280 South First Street, San Jose, California. That is the address of the Robert F. Peckham Federal Building in United States Courthouse. I thought it might be a decent idea to put the address of the building on the flyer. After the fact, of course, not in the initial message I sent to Steve. But only not until I looked at it and went, we could probably put the address of the place.
Anything else you need to update people?
I don't know. Not for an X update. And I think that's what we're gonna limit the stream to for tonight.
Yeah, we should just stick to the X stuff because yeah, this is really a special for the 20th of July, the day of action for the first day of action for Commander X, because there will be more days of action, right? Hopefully we can have at least a day of
Yes.
action at every court date. Every court session needs a day of action. People need to be in front of the courthouses, making a lot of noise. The people who want to decide on his fate, on his future, and want to lock him up, they need to at least know that the entire world is watching, and that his friends are watching, and he needs to know that too. He needs to know that he's not alone, right? Because he is ready to
Yes.
fight, and he is a fighter, and he is not going to give up, but it makes it a lot easier for him, and he will be a lot more motivated if he has his support from his anonymous brothers and sisters, right? And because he's always been supportive of all of us, and he has always been with us. I know some of his haters might be listening too. You know that you can hate him, but he's always been with us. He's one of us. He's a unique figure who has done a lot to promote our collective. He's been speaking in the media, and he has been a very vocal supporter of human rights, regardless of what you think of him. And you just need to defend him. And if you don't, yeah, what are you going to do? Who are you going to defend? I saw plenty of the ex-haters drop their support for Assange too. I didn't see promote Assange much, even though we have journalism on trial there. And now we have activism on trial too. Right? We have someone who stands up for the homeless and the weakest in society. Right? And he didn't advocate for the rich and wealthy and powerful people. He advocated for the homeless. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this guy doesn't deserve to be even in jail for one day.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to stand up for him, because when he gets out, he's going to stand up for you too. Even though you hate him, maybe, as some of you do, but he's going to stand up for you. You're going to speaks about all of this stuff, and he mentions all of the stuff you did to change the world. And yeah, he's been crucial in promoting a collective, anonymous collective, whatever you think of him. So you need to defend him. So on the 20th is the first court date, and there will be more court sessions, and we will need a day of action every court session. Simple.
Yep.
And then beyond
Regardless
that,
of what you think of X, regardless of what your personal feelings are about him, you're not any safer than he was when he was in Mexico just before he got renditioned.
We don't mix
So,
fucking personal shit with our stuff. No, exactly. But we don't mix personal shit with our stuff ever. So we do this for the goals we're fighting for, and access activism for especially for the homeless, and also for Palestine, for the situation for the Egyptians in the middle.
And for Ferguson.
For Ferguson, and a crucial support in the Middle East, building communications, making these protests huge, and he needs us now, and we can't allow him to be locked up for 17 years, up to 17 years. This is impossible. That is, at his age, it could be a life in prison sentence too. Just saying.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the thing. And there will be a press release. Will be either today or tomorrow, and for the media, and well, everyone should just start organizing, pretty much.
tomorrow for the media, tonight probably for social media. That's what I'm guessing anyway.
All right. Is it PSA time?
Yeah, do the PSA.
All right. Okay, y'all. Last reminder, July 20th is going to be our first day of action for Commander X, Free Commander X. You can follow at Free Commander X _ on Twitter for updates, and freecommanderx.org is our website. Yeah, it's time to go full send and get out there for X and others being persecuted as a result of this war on activism. So, always remember the anonymous PSA to spam neuter your politicians and lobbyists and bankers and military contractors and royalty.